Let's read the TWAB, shall we? What's up, everybody? My name is D Flawless, and welcome to another TWAB reading this week at Bungie for December 1st, 2022. Before we get into this TWAB reading, I just want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by Advanced GG. We'll have the link in the description. You can use code Flawless to save 10%. Great energy formula. This is the Blood Orange. I'm actually trying this for the first time, so let's taste this. That's good. Exclamation GG in chat right now. Advanced GG Blood Orange. This is good. You got to try it. Use code Flawless. Clinically proven to help you with performance, esports, cognitive processes, and all that. Everything you need to be a better gamer and to get you through your day. Also, we have a Patreon where you can support for as little as $1 for exclusive access, behind the scenes access, and exclusive content. We're also doing a God of War 2018 playthrough, our lead up to God of War Ragnarok playthrough that we're going to be doing there, as well as a bunch of other stuff other than Destiny and behind the scenes. We're also going to be launching a podcast very soon. So subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/dflaws. I'll have that link for you in the description as well. But this week at Bungie, now that we're back from Shanksgiving, we've got a few more things we need to wrap up before the new year ahead. Not only are we talking about our latest adventure into unknown lands, this time channeling incredible characters from one of Ubisoft's most iconic franchises, we also got a sneak peek at even more weapon tuning ahead, a fresh look at some new gear, and the community weapon ornament voting has begun with a special sit down with the artist herself to talk about the process coming later this week. Just like the previous TWAB, here's a quick rundown on what we're going to be chatting about this week before diving right in. More on the exciting new partnership with Ubisoft, Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris, and Nightfall loot pool updates, weapon philosophy, and more on upcoming changes with senior design lead Chris Proctor, an important update on Hunter Void Invisibility. Ooh, this is going to be spicy. Season 19 artifact preview. It's time to vote for your favorite Arbalest ornament, as well as bonus interview with the chosen community artist behind the craft that will drop later this week on Friday. New Prime Gaming drops and known issues list update. Let's get into it. We'll meet again, Guardian, in an Altair net universe. I see what she did there. In case you missed it, we're getting our stealth on, Guardians. Earlier today, we shared our last venture out into the great unknown once more, this time partnering up with one of Ubisoft's most iconic franchises to celebrate our latest crossover. We're challenging players to take a leap of faith and embrace the way of the Brotherhood with new cosmetic items that will let you live out your best mysterious hooded figure looking for adventure fantasy. From recent heroes to classic favorites, it's a phenomenal way to get the best of both worlds, plus more fashion. Who could say no to that? And Bungie Twitter sent out a tweet, a sneak peek of some new things coming to Destiny. It's a Destiny and Assassin's Creed crossover, and I kind of love it. And it looks like Shaxx is going to have something to do with this. So interesting. Very, very interesting. Even better, that hidden door love works both ways, with Valhalla players enjoying some Destiny 2 themed gear themselves, inspired some of the greatest warriors fighting against the darkness with new armor sets and unique weapons inspired by some of the most iconic weaponry in the world of Destiny. Oh, and a new mount, because you can't fight crime if you ain't cute. It's the Galler Sword. After all, it technically is still stealth if nobody is left to rat you out to the Templars. True. A fine evening of Iron Banana and Trials of Osiris with a splash of Nightfall. It's a new season on the horizon, which means more loot to earn. For those Guardians with a penchant for a different kind of challenge, there is a new array of weapons to earn. Whether you're heading for the lighthouse or just looking to make old Saladin proud before heading out to run Nightfalls, here's what you can look forward to with the upcoming season. Trials of Osiris, what's arriving. Exalted Truth Suros Adaptive Hand Cannon, plus Adept, the Unwavering Duty Suros Adaptive Machine Gun and the Adept version, What's Staying, Whistler's Wind Bow, Forgiveness Sidearm, the Inquisitor Shotgun, Burden of Guilt Fusion Rifle, What's Leaving, Aisha's Embrace, Reed's Regret, Iron Banner, What's Arriving, the Dark Decider Auto Rifle meta coming? I don't know. Ganora's Axe Slug Shotgun, What's Staying, Allied Demand, Roar of the Boar, Wise and Rebuke, Hero's Burden, Frontier's Cry, Razor's Edge, What's Leaving, Forge's Pledge, and Risk Walker. It's Reese Walker. That's a typo. Nightfall, What's Arriving, the Wendigo GL. Oh, the Wendigo's coming back. Hung Jury, What's Leaving, Silicon Neuroma, and Duty Bound. And one more thing, we also have shiny new Season 19 ornaments for ritual activities like Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard Strikes. Feast your eyes on more activity-themed fashion for the upcoming season and marvel at our ability to always come in hot with that clutch green snakeskin look. Ooh, look at this bad boy. Oh, the Crucible, so it's a Hake auto rifle, looks like. Either auto or pulse. That's a pulse, isn't it? That looks nice. I like the red. I like the Crucible ornament on it. Weapon Philosophy and the Art of Running Div. With a new season on the horizon, a fine weapons tuning update is just what Banshee ordered. We've got senior design lead Chris Proctor back to chat about even more tweaks to gunplay that Guardians should know about. From an accessibility standpoint, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. The full auto toggle that has been implemented is one of the changes we're particularly excited for, but that's just one small part of a bigger update. From weapon philosophy to global goals, here's what Chris had to say about what's next. Chris, first up, if you haven't looked at a weapons TWAB since Season 18-1, you may want to catch up on the Festival of the Lost mid-season 6.2.5 weapons balance update, which can be found here, which has important info for what's coming next. Additionally, several hotfixes landed over the course of the current season, one of which included the following balance changes: reduced aim assist on special ammo linear fusion rifles, applied previous sniper flinch changes to linear fusion rifles. Global. We've seen very positive player responses to the full auto retrofit weapon mod over the past several seasons. Because of that, we've added a full auto toggle to the gameplay section of the settings menu that will be going live with the launch of Season 19. This setting will allow for all weapons to become fully automatic. We'll be watching how players end up using this and are looking into additional ways for players to pick which types of weapons this setting applies to sometime after Lightfall. For now, we have this new toggle. On a related note, we're also aware that certain melees also require speedy clicking and are looking at something similar for a subset. For example, glaive, sword, and roaming super melees, though currently not regularly charged and uncharged melees. So there you go. So it looks like there's going to be a global toggle that'll make all your weapons full auto, and they're looking into making it more specific to each weapon archetype, or even possibly even each specific weapon. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Weapon archetypes. We pulled quite a few weapon archetypes changes from Season 19 into a previously referenced 6.2.5 update, so this section is smaller than it would otherwise have been. That said, we have some substantial changes here, particularly to shotguns and glaives, so it's worth diving into if weapon theory is your thing. Shotgun. Shotguns were previously able to one-hit kill from too far away and needed adjustments. Once that was addressed, the weaknesses of random pellet spread became clear. They've become less reliable even at close ranges. This gives us a solid starting point to do something we have been looking into for a while, giving each shotgun subfamily a custom fixed spread pattern and a matching custom reticle. Wow. Each of these spread patterns is intended to give a subfamily a unique style of gameplay and a predictably effectiveness at specific ranges. The reticles are tuned to match the size of the actual spread pattern at the default field of view, but note that this is not the case as FOV changes or as spread angle changes. Like if you're jumping, for example, we'll update reticles to react dynamically to spread angle and lightfall and FOV in a later release, though this first step was crucial for getting that prepped for implementation in the future. So shotguns, each subclass is getting its own fixed spread pattern and a matching custom reticle. That's pretty cool. So the consistency is going to be going up on shotgun. The changes listed evolve the experience of using a shotgun so much that we expect to revisit tuning on these over the next few seasons. That's okay. Tailoring to different playstyles while maintaining a balance takes time, but we're on a good path. Also note that we have held off on adjusting fusion rifles because the balance between shotguns and fusion rifles depends a lot on how these changes work out after season 19 launches. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? Here are the spread patterns for each shotgun subfamily. Aggressive, fixed, evenly distributed. Okay, so we're actually getting examples of the spread pattern. So aggressive shotguns will have a fixed, evenly distributed cone. Precisions will have a more oval-shaped vertical cone. Interesting. So you can really kind of, you probably get more headshots with this. The lightweight has a diamond. It looks like it's spread out a little bit more, but you get to fire it rapidly, kind of in a diamond shape. And then rapid fire is a square. Wow. Wow. This is really interesting. And slug updated reticle to properly show precision. Boom. Slug, all you get is one. So this is really nice. Fixed shotgun pellet spread. Additional changes. Aggressive fixed several shotguns that were using the incorrect intrinsic aggressive perk. All aggressive shotguns will now increase rate of fire after a kill as intended. Rapid fire increased PvE damage by 5%. The reload speed benefit for the rapid fire shotgun frame now always applies instead of only when reloading from an empty magazine. Sidearm. Sidearms are now much more viable in PvP since 6.2.5 buff to the season's type's auto aim fall off distance, but this caused a notable overbuff to Drang, allowing it to complete too far outside sidearm range. Reduced zoom stat on Drang and Drang Baroque from 14 to 13. So Drang's getting a bit of a nerf. Fusion rifle. Now on to fusion rifles. Main ingredient is still widely effective as a rangy fusion rifle due to being able to roll with stability perks in both columns. We've adjusted some of those perks, but we don't want to poke at them further if it isn't needed. So we're just hitting the slightly out of band stats of this weapon directly. Reduced stability from 49 to 35. Reduced aim assist stat from 59 to 45. So, man, they cannot get main ingredient under control. Another nerf to main ingredient. Fusion rifle reticles don't react much to changing accuracy due to firing or jumping, even when on mouse and keyboard and at high FOV. Rebuilt the fusion rifle hipfire reticle so that it reacts more obviously to changes in the accuracy cone. Glaive projectiles have not hit our quality bar for hit registration yet, so we have reworked them. We're also loosening the restrictions on some melee damage exotics and have adjusted base melee damage to some PvE damage scalers to avoid degenerate damage multipliers. Glaive projectiles have been adjusted for more reliable hit detection over the network. Glaive melee attacks can now benefit from exotic armor perks on Syntheseps, Worm God Caress, and Winter's Guile. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That's huge. We're going to see glaives go up, and we're going to probably see these exotics go up. Syntheseps, Worm God Caress, and Winter's Guile. Glaive melee damage multipliers reduced from 25 to 30% against champions, mini bosses. It says reduced, but it says by 25 to 30. Okay, yeah. Reduced by 25 to 30% against champions, mini bosses, and vehicles. Damage against major and minor enemies is unchanged. Glaive melee base damage reduced from 75 to 67. That's a spicy meatball. So Syntheseps, Worm God, and Winter's Guile. Which one is Winter's Guile? That's the Warlock one. Yo. Winter's Guile makes it so that when you hit with a melee, it makes your next melee stronger, I believe. That's huge for a glaive. Hand cannon. When we updated stats for hand cannons that used to be lightweights, now adaptives, we didn't touch Rose. Now that Rose is returning, we've adjusted its stats for smoother reintegration. Updated Rose's stats to work for an adaptive hand cannon. Increase range from 38 to 43, reduce stability down from 45 to 40, reduce handling from 68 to 60, airborne effectiveness is 20. Blinding effects. Grenade launchers, the Queen Breaker, and Grand Overture all previously used other blinding screen effect, which players have reported can feel jarring and pose some photosensitivity concerns. Switch these to a new arc blind effect, which has significantly reduced screen effect brightness and is overall less intrusive. Weapon mods. Weapon mods that increase the effects of weapon perks do not make for interesting decisions, so we've made a long-awaited and long-requested change to them. Dragonfly, Rampage, and surrounding perks now have their spec mod behaviors enabled by default. Okay. Thanks. Free Dragonfly, Rampage, and surrounded spec mod. Thanks. Perks, reworks. We're not happy with how the prior redesign of Air Assault turned out, so we've taken a second pass at it. It now directly rewards success and is much more dependable for players. Air Assault now grants a stacking bonus to airborne effectiveness, maximum 2 stacks, 1 per final blow, 2 per airborne final. Each stack is plus 30 airborne effectiveness. Head Seeker has been a boring and questionably useful perk on most pulse rifles for quite a while, so we've redesigned it as well. Body shots now increase your precision multiplier and increase aim assist. Additional body shots reset the timer. It has 0.55 seconds base timer. Body shots while Head Seeker is active reset the timer. Interesting. Encore's initial implementation was a little complex and fiddly to use, so we've redesigned that one too. Final blows now grant stacks of Encore, and stacks grant increased stability, range, and accuracy. Body shot final blows grant 1 stack, precision final blows grant 2 stacks with a maximum of 4 stacks. Last 7 seconds, enhance, last 7.5 seconds, final blows refresh timer. Plus 8 stability, plus 5 range, and plus 1.25% accuracy per stat. So Encore looks like it's getting a buff, kind of working like, like a juiced up Rampage, but more so for the effectiveness of the weapon. Seraph rounds will be appearing on more weapons next season, but in its current form, it's the strongest magazine perk by a large margin, so we've pulled it back a little and made it more of a trade-off. Removed the plus 10 range scaler, now offers plus stability, plus 7 stability, and plus 3 range. Tunnel vision plus kill clip not being refreshable while active has always been counterintuitive, so we've now set them up to allow that. That being said, this makes kill clip too strong compared to other damage perks, so we've pulled it back a little. The duration of these buffs can now be refreshed if activated while already active. Reduce kill clip damage bonus from 33 to 25%. Yo, so kill clip, it's no longer previously, like if you had kill clip going and you got a kill and refreshed and kill clip was still active, it would cancel out, right? So you'd still be on the old timer, but now all the kills will refresh. All the kills plus reloads will refresh. That's cool. So that's kind of a buff, but they're also reducing the damage bonus from 33 to 25%. So that's an interesting change for kill clip. Yeah, I didn't realize Seraph rounds was so problematic, apparently. Redirection didn't use our standard method of checking for weak versus strong enemies, so we've changed it to be consistent with other perks since it will be appearing on more weapon. Now build stack against red bar enemies and consumes them on everything else, i.e. matches minor spec and other perks that use similar language. Buffs. We want players to be able to use the Hake Breach Armaments Origin trait to bring down Ward of Dawn, Well of Radiance, and Stasis Crystals in PvP. Now increases damage versus Ward of Dawn and Well of Radiance sword by 30%, 60% with the artifact mod. Damage bonus against Stasis Crystals has been increased by 15%, both base and with artifact mod. Okay, interesting. Gut Shot Straight shipped a little too weak on auto rifle, so we bumped it up a little bit. Increase bonus auto rifle body shot damage from 10% to 20%. Compulsive reloader's reload speed benefit is enjoyable, but on certain weapon types, it doesn't remain active deep enough into a magazine. Now remains active down to half ammo. The high impact frame intrinsic perk can be hard to use since it switches off with little movement. We tweaked this so that slow movement, i.e. crouching and strafing, doesn't deactivate the perk. Now allows a small amount of movement instead of turning off with any movement. Ambitious Assassin's recent adjustment gives it a remarkably high potential for overflowing a magazine, but in areas with sparse enemies, it can be hard to chain kills quickly enough. Increase allowed time between kills from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. For well-rounded, duration increase from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, stacking the effect still resets the timer. Recombination has had some reliability issues, so we made some tweaks and adjusted the damage. This was important since this is now available on new weapons. Tweaks to make this function in PvP as intended. Now grants up to 100% bonus damage at max stacks in PvE plus 50% in PvP. Wow. We can get up to 100% bonus damage with recombination now. 50% in PvP. Zen Moment provides an extraordinarily strong, if not well understood, reduction to recoil angle, but missing would reset the perk completely, making it difficult to sustain. No longer deactivates on a miss, now has a 1 second timer. Okay, so Zen Moment gets a buff. As part of the work on Divinity this season, we looked at other related hiccups, including rewind rounds. Rewind rounds, I can never say this perk. Rewind rounds now work as intended when hitting the cage created by Divinity. Genesis has always refilled weapon ammo on breaking shields in PvE, but hasn't been the case in PvP. We determined that this is a safe call to make to remove this restriction entirely. Now triggers on breaking players' shields. Oh! Genesis might start to see some more action, man. You get Genesis in like Rampage or something. That's Genesis. I like that change to Genesis. I'm calling it. Genesis is going to be the sleeper perk, man. You get a hand cannon with Genesis and a kill perk. That's going to be a keeper. One Quiet Moment wasn't really doing the job of providing fast reloads out of combat in cases where a player has dealt with all nearby threats. So we've made the following change: faster reactivation after a final blow. Gun and run was hard to trigger in PvP or encounters with few enemies, so we also decided to half the number of final blows needed to activate this when going up against most enemy types. Nerfs. Box breathing has been providing too strong of a benefit for too little investment on scout rifles, so we pulled it back a smidge to avoid crossing time to kill thresholds, reduced damage bonus on scout rifles by 5%. Unstoppable Forces damage was a little too high for the level investment, surpassing other damage perks for strength and uptime. We're keeping the uptime but adjusting the damage, reduced damage bonus from 30 to 20%. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what Unstoppable Force does. Unstoppable Force? What do you get that on? What does that even come on? Is that a perk? Strength and uptime. Is this this is a melee? Is this a Titan melee? Gotta be a Titan melee, right? That's the melee. Okay. Or is this a weapon perk? One-two punch is one part of several combos that allow stacking melee damage buffs to get far higher than intended. Here's what one-two punch will look like. Reduce bonus melee damage as follows: from 3x to 2x versus most enemies with unpowered melees. From 1.8 to 1.4 versus most enemies with charged melees. Reduce the additional bonus versus bosses from 0.5 to 0.25. Okay. Bug fixes. 2xx opulent weapon origin trait. Triggering this perk across multiple weapons no longer displays a stacking counter to the UI. This perk never stacked its effects, so the change does not change its behavior. Enhanced perks. We've taken a pass over several enhanced perks to bring their functionality more in line with the base perks. Enhance Unrelenting, shifted to +5 health regen, removed +5 handling. Enhance Perpetual Motion, removed 0.1 second faster activation and removed the 0.1 second grace period upon ending, added 1 second faster activation of 2 stacks. Okay, so you can get 2 stacks faster. Enhanced time payload, shift from range to +5 stability. Enhanced explosive payload, shifted from range to +5 reload. Enhanced firing line, added a 10 additional handling when in proximity, removed increased neutral range. Enhanced grave robber, swap +5 reload to swap +5 handling. Enhanced explosive light, added 1 more charge, stack caps at 7. Enhanced cornered, added +10 stability when active. Enhanced cold steel, weapon energy and weapon magazine capacity now add +10 to be consistent with other ammo capacity increasing perk. Enhanced vorpal weapon, change from +5 reload to +5 stability. This will apply to the guard resistance stat on swords. Enhanced genesis, remove primary ammo overflow, added additional handling. Actually, I like that because I don't know if it ever overflowed. Enhanced flash counter, increased ammo capacity. Enhanced chain reaction, updated the description as this provides a different benefit to swords. Enhanced ambitious assassin, increase allowed time between final blows from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. Reworks, exotics. We identified a handful of weapons that we felt needed a substantial change to really hit the level of exoticness that we expect from Destiny 2 exotics. The fundamentals perk, which can be seen on the damage type switching exotics Borealis, Hard Light, and Dead Messenger, while functional, felt like it could do more to grant the modes some identity based on selected damage type. So each damage type now grants different weapon stats. Think elemental capacitor. If that perk checked the damage type on the weapon instead of the player's subclass. Let me read that again. The fundamental perk, which can be seen damage type pushing exotic Borealis, while functional, felt like it could do more and grant the mode some identity based on select damage type. Okay, so when you switch the weapon type, it's going to also give it certain stat buff. Added stats to each element. Arc, 20 plus 25 handling, plus 25 range. Solar, plus 35 reload speed, plus 20 airborne effectiveness. Void, plus 20 stability, and plus 10 aim assist. Okay, I like that. Even with the above changes to the fundamentals, we felt like Borealis needed more substantial changes. Breaking a match shield now refills the magazines from reserves and allow your next 5 shots to deal bonus damage, not be activated by reloading. Jade Rabbit is a strong scout rifle, but its exotic perk was lackluster, so we've redesigned it to be more of a gameplay loop. Quickly landing 3 crits, returns around to the magazine and increases the damage of your next body shot. Stacks up to 3 increased damage body shots, resets if you reload. Three weapons dominate raid exotic weapon usage, largely because of their effectiveness and ammo efficiency. So more nerfs. Agar Scepter. Wait, where's Salvation's Grip? I don't see it. Wow, look at how far Arbalest is above everything. Holy. Arbalest, Divinity, then Witherhoard. But look at how much more Arbalest gets use compared to every other weapon. It's crazy. For example, looking at raid exotic usage in November 15, this chart shows each weapon share of all exotic weapon usage in raids. It's clear that Arbalest, Divinity, and Witherhoard are extremely popular. Divinity coming right behind Arbalest is no accident, but an entire team of 6 players in a raid only needs a single Divinity, so it's even more popular than it looks when simply looking at numbers. Another interesting aspect of this data is that Divinity ownership is roughly half the number of those who own Arbalest and Witherhoard. If that number were to go up, popularity of this weapon would also increase. Witherhoard, Forerunner, Jotun, Telesto. PvP exotic special weapon usage. Okay, so Witherhoard, Forerunner, Jotun, and wow. That's the top PvP special weapon. Yeah, I have been noticing a lot I have been noticing a lot of Wither Hordes lately in Crucible. Wither Horde is extremely strong in both PvE and PvP, dealing high damage quickly and for an extended duration. We aren't making changes to direct hits, and we're leaving the damage and ammo capacity alone, but since this weapon in its current iteration is too strong in PvE, not to mention that the Taken Portal is difficult to deal with in PvP, we made the following changes. Reduce Taken Portal duration from 7.5 to 4.5 seconds. I like that. Reduce the timer. It keeps his damage, but it stays active less time. That shouldn't be too big of a problem in PvE, but it'll make it much more easy to deal with in PvP. I like that. Take away those 3 seconds, man. It stayed on the ground too long. Regarding Divinity, this is a must-have weapon in in-game PvE. That said, the combination of the strongest possible weaken effect, the cage making critical hits trivial, and intrinsic overload being too strong, as is evident in looking at how this weapon is used in instances like raids, it was time for a change. We looked at several options, including making the weapon harder to use or reducing its uptime by bringing its ammo down, but ultimately felt that its identity is all about making damage phases more enjoyable. Cage uptime remains the same, but we've brought the weaken strength down to match our standard weakens in game. It's also important to call out that you can still apply a 30% weaken debuff with the cage by combining Divinity with Tether or Tractor Cannon. Okay, so now you're not throwing. If you have a Divinity and you throw a Tether, now they can combine and do a bigger debuff. Reduce Divinity's weaken from 30% to 15%. Still self buffs to 30%. Arbalest missed out on the body damage reduction that Lorentz Driver received, making it too easy to get one-hit body shots in PvP while also not requiring enough precision in PvE. Reduce body shot damage to match Lorentz Driver. Gjallarhorn is the highest DPS rocket launcher and a great support weapon for legendary rocket launchers, so we picked one of those two roles and opted to lean into its support power. Reduce primary rockets impact and detonation damage by 25%. Wolfpack rounds are unaffected. This just brings it into the desired band without nerfing it past other rocket launchers. Forerunner, so another Gjallarhorn. Why do we always do this, man? Gjallarhorn comes out, it's great, it's the best rocket. Let it just be the best rocket. They nerfed it into the ground in D1, and now they're nerfing it again in D2. Yeah, I don't really care for this. I mean, I get it. I understand why they do it. I don't care for it. Like, let Gjallarhorn be Gjallarhorn, right? It's Gjallarhorn. Jeez. Forerunner received an unintended and relatively small damage buff in Season 18's balance update that made it a little too easy to use. After the change, all it took for a final blow was 1 crit and 3 body shots or 5 body shots in PvP. Here's what we've changed in Season 19. Reduce Forerunner's base damage from 40 to 37 and crit damage from 72 to 67 buffs. We track exotic weapon popularity when deciding what exotic weapons to buff by looking at how many active players own a weapon and how much they use it in game. Okay, so you can check this graph out. The lowest 20 exotic uses by owners with ownership percent November 15th. So typically we choose from the 20 or so of the least popular weapons for a potential buff, either directly or via a catalyst addition. In this case, we've adjusted some that have languished for years and others we simply felt strongly about. We have more of these types of changes coming in Lightfall, though we'll share those in a later update. With the addition of the full auto setting, we're replacing full auto trigger system perk on each exotic that had it. No Time to Explain replaced with Feeding Frenzy. Traveler's Chosen Catalyst perk replaced with Surplus. Vigilance Wing Catalyst perk replaced with Ensemble. We fixed an issue where crits from Dead Man's Tail were landing inconsistently, depending on whether your aim was above or below the target. We've also made some small changes to his base damage, which will apply to all 120 RPM scout rifles. Now prefers critical hits over body hits, and hip fire of both types of targets are inside the precision aim cone. Increase body shot damage from 46 to 54 and reduce crit damage from 81 to 80. We've also been looking for a way to help Darcy players. We know many Guardians would like it to move to the energy slot, but there's plenty of competition for sniper rifles there, even exotics. With the below change, it's more of an interesting choice in the heavy slot. Now applies Jolt when damaging targets affected by personal assistant. Increases base airborne effectiveness of 80. Wow, okay. The airborne effectiveness is pointless. Why are you jumping with a sniper? But the Jolt is cool. Wishender. was always has always had a hidden damage bonus versus targets affected by Witherhoard due to its identity as a Taken Hunter's weapon. Increased bonus versus Witherhoard blighted targets from 10 to 25%. While we don't want special ammo snipers to be perfectly accurate from the air without significant investment, we don't have the same concerns with their heavy ammo counterpoints. That's where this Whisper of the Worm change comes in. Increased base airborne effectiveness to 80. Okay, so you're going to be hitting some jump snipes with your heavy sniper. The Prospector has surprisingly high burst damage, but ultimately doesn't excel enough at ad clear or DPS for it to have a secure place. With the below change, it is substantially more effective at ad clear, though we will continue to monitor when it's live in game. Added chain reaction to the intrinsic perk. That's cool. Fourth Horseman has some niche uses, but ultimately suffers from extremely hard to control recoil, which we've pulled back. Decrease recoil by 50%. We still advocate for discount Fourth Horseman, the Gambit shotgun. Can't think of the name of it. Fun change to Witherhoard, yeah. Forerunner is a weapon in PvE, but it's never been a top pick. Changes to the weapon and its grenades should make it a lot more viable. Increase crit damage by 30% and the rock's damage by 60% in PvE. Reduce ammo cost to activate the rock from 6 to 4. Increase damage at the outer edge of the rock's damage radius from 0% to 20%. Merciless is extraordinarily strong when ramped up, but it's hard to keep it in that state. Merciless's decreased charge time on hit now resets on a 5-second timer. This timer is refreshed when you land hit. Rat King is a lot of fun to use, but the allowed distance from allies feels a little too strict as it stands. Radius required to activate his perk increase from 15 meters to 20 meters. I know Miss 5000 Watts is gonna love this. She's holding the line on the Rat King, man. Like, I feel like every time I pop in, she's using Rat King. So there you go. There you go, Watts. Rat King got a buff. Enjoy. Legend of Acrius has some movement penalties to make it feel weightier. We think that the feel of using the weapon does that significantly though. So this is what Acrius users can look forward to. Remove movement penalties. Bastion's Season 14 nerf was a little more than it needed, so we've halved it. Reduce spread angle by 6%. Quicksilver Storm's grenade intentionally shipped on the weak side. We wanted to see what the uptime of grenades was like in the wild rather than ship them too strong, but we believe it's safe to increase the damage and the radiance a fair bit. We've also fixed a bug with the rockets. They weren't intended to be arc, and this bug unchanged would interfere with the catalyst coming in Lightfall. Increase PvP maximum grenade damage from 80 to 120. And increase the explosion radius from 3 meters to 4 meters. Switch rocket damage from arc to kinetic. So apparently it wasn't supposed to be arc. I think maybe the catalyst is going to make it arc. It said it wouldn't work with the catalyst, so I think it's going to make it arc, or it's going to do something with shields. Cold Heart's Arc 3.0 rework wasn't generous enough with ionic traces, so reduce cooldown on ionic trace generation from 3.5 to 2 seconds. Now maxes out stability and reload speed when at maximum damage. Picking up an ionic trace now reduces the time it takes to get to max damage. Grand Overture's loop doesn't feel rewarding enough in its current form, so we've dramatically increased the reward. Increased missile damage by 50%. Wow. Like that. I like Grand Overture, though it's only getting better. Xenophagy only deals area of effect damage currently, which causes issues against some enemies in PvE. We're not changing the overall weapon much, but we're addressing this pesky PvE issue. Despite benefiting from solid ease of use, we felt that its damage could be a little higher. Now deals roughly half of its damage as impact damage and the rest is detonation. Overall damage increased by 5%. A nice Xenophagy buff. When adjusting Divinity, we also looked at some bugs related to it, including Cloud Strike. The Lightning Storm will now correctly activate when hitting Divinity's cage. Armor. Some exotic armor pieces were part of combinations allowing extremely high damage output from melee attacks in PvE. So we brought a couple of these down versus altering enemy health. Wormgod Caress reduced maximum damage multiplier from 7.5 to 3.5. Winter's Guile reduced maximum damage multiplier from 7.5 to 3.5. Note on your Falcon's Halberd. Your Falcon Herbert. We have a change coming in 6.3.0.1. Here's a sneak preview of the change that we believe will address balance concerns in PvP while maintaining a clear identity in the void space. Gain volatile rounds when exiting invisibility. When executing a finisher while invisible, this exotic now gives nearby allies a reserve overshield and gives the wearer a temporary bonus to weapon damage. Will address balance concerns. Gain volatile rounds when exiting invisibility. So are they... Okay, so it looks like they're changing it to where you don't get the weapon buff just from coming out of invisible, but you do get it when you execute a finisher while invisible. So it effectively takes away the Gerfalcon's weapon buff in PvP, right? Because you can't finish anybody in PvP. Interesting. Wow. Take that, Gerfalcon crutch users. Things players can look forward to in the future: a heavy weapon damage rebalance, tinkering with bringing some less effective options up while bringing some damage outliers down. With Lightfall DPS meta, mysterious. A large rebalance of the airborne effectiveness stat, making primary ammo weapons significantly more accurate while airborne without any investment in this stat. Think Icarus level accuracy from before season 17. Specifics are still in development. Some tweaks to the new shotgun reticles. A pass at adding subclass 3.0 verbs to several exotic weapons. There are currently 7. Interesting. So hopefully Sunshot, I think I called it when they teased this in a previous TWAB, but Sunshot is going to be the new go-to solar weapon. Book it. Same thing with Graviton Lance. Book it. A Void Hunter walks into a bar, but you probably didn't see them. We all, at least at one point or another in our lives, wish for the power of invisibility. With great power comes great responsibility. You're a real one, Uncle Ben. The PvP community has spoken and they've said, y'all, something's gotta change with the power of invisibility when going up against other guardians. Here's the chat about the exact topic in Sandbox designer Mike Humboldt. Mike, hey everyone. With update 6.3.0.1 scheduled to be released the week of December 13, we're moving up a change to void invisibility to help reduce its power at high-level Crucible activities. For full context, we feel it's necessary to provide some background information on how the radar in Destiny 2 works. The radar in Destiny 2 is divided into 3 range-defined sections. A close-range core, which covers a range of 0 to 6 meters that pings anytime an enemy, invisible or not, is within its range. The mid-range pie wedge, covering the 6 to 24 meter range. The gutter and the outer ring of the radar, which starts at 24 meters and has a maximum search range of 64 meters. After updating 6.3.0.1, when a player is invisible, their maximum radar range will be reduced from 24 meters, and they don't have access to the information in the gutter range until they are visible again. While 24 meters sounds like a long range on paper, our playtests show this reduction in information availability has a significant impact on how invisible players approach engagements and allows potential targets more chance to get the drop on the invisible aggressor. It also offers a way to reposition when they hear the audio cue for invisibility. We found this change has minimal impact on invisibility's role in PvE. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on this as it drops and monitoring feedback and adjust further if needed. So they didn't change anything to the actual visibility of the invisibility. Yeah, that makes sense. They didn't change anything to that, but when the player goes invisible, their radar is reduced. So they don't have all the information that you have once you're visible. Interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Is it enough? Probably not. Maybe not. Possibly yes. I don't know. We'll see. Season 19 artifact mods. Here's for a good time, not a long time. It's that time again, time to take a look at what next season artifact will bring to the table when taking on ferocious enemies and baking treats with Space Grandma for the rest of the tower. Here to chat more about what players can expect in Sandbox design lead Rodney Thompson. Rodney, each season's artifact has focused on one of the light subclasses, reinforcing and enhancing 3.0 updates that players have been tinkering with throughout 2022. In Season 19, time to give a little love to Stasis. As we've always done in the final season of the year, you'll see some reprisals, some reimaginings, and some more experimentation. Season 19 artifacts will have anti-champion mods for hand cannons, scout rifles, bows, pulse rifles, and auto rifles, and submachine guns, as well as the return of the unstoppable grenade launcher mod. Interesting. The loose and finisher mod returns to help you generate some heavy ammo. We've also got some new twists on a few old favorites, including a version of passive guard that works with glaives and a reprisal of Breach and Clear design to interact with Void 3.0 rework. Wow, looks like the seasonal mods are going to be pretty cool. They're going to be pretty cool. We're also trying out some experimental mods that don't follow our usual patterns. Be on the lookout for the artifact mods for the chest and leg slot that grants bonuses to resilience and mobility respectively. We also have a helmet mod that grants additional airborne effectiveness to the weapons you're wearing. The monochromatic Maestro mod in the class item slot rewards you generously for using weapons and subclasses that match their damage types. We've even included a mod aimed specifically at solo players, which should be very useful in tackling those legend lost sectors and get just the right roll on that exotic you're looking for. Wow, okay. Community created, community voted. Choose your Arbalest. I see what they did there. Back in August, we opened the gates for Guardians to vote on which exotic gets a shiny new ornament. The eventual winner was none other than the Arbalest Linear Fusion Rifle. Since then, we got straight to work with a community artist to whip up some crafty new designs. After poring over potential designs, 3 potential concepts for new ornaments emerged. As for which one will win, well, that's up to you, but I know which one I'm going to personally be rooting for. So we have, is this a broken link? Oh no, we have a broken link. Can we refresh it? Maybe they fixed it. We need to see the Arbalest. We need to see it. Where is it? There we go. All right, so design 1 historic. Okay, like a little Old West style. Like it. Black armory. I dig that as well. Very nice. Synthwave. Oh, I think Synthwave is going to win. Everyone loves Synthwave. I vote the Old West or Synthwave. They're all really nice, though. They're all really nice. Guardians can vote through a special email coming out on December 5th alongside a highlight of your Season 18 moments. Check those spam folders for those having trouble getting emails. Check out the resource we have here for a potential workaround. We're particularly excited because this marks the first community-created item that will make its way into the game. Who knows what other community-inspired designs could make it in, but first, we vote. Now that designs have been revealed, we want to reiterate a point made during the announcement of this initiative. It's going to take a bit to go through our content pipeline when looking at this created ornament, so we want to set some expectations up front that you likely won't see the design until Season 21. We know that's a long way out, but we're glad to get to be along for the ride on this one and an important part of the process. Community created, community voted. We can't wait to see what you all decide. For a little added treat, we sat down with the artists themselves, Stellar State Logic, meet the creator behind the designs, with a special TWAB edition community focus dropping this Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. There we go. So we'll get to catch up with the artists in the community focus. We're primed and ready for more loot. Look at the holidays. 'Tis the season and all that, and while we aren't Santa, red was never really my color anyway, we do have some more free loot up for grabs for those Guardians hanging in the Prime Gaming Club. For those looking to switch things up a bit, when looking at their gear loadouts, we've got the last month of Prime Gaming drops for 2022 to indulge in. For anyone a little confused on what we're talking about, Prime Gaming is a spiffy program with Amazon Prime that offers Guardians a select few exotics and legendary goods to unlock. It's super easy to use too. Just sign up for your Prime Gaming account and link it to your Bungie.net account. If you have Amazon Prime, congrats. You also have Prime Gaming. Once signed in, you can select Sweet Cosmetic link below. There we go. So Amazon Prime rewards, player support report. We got some updates, Stadia, known issues, save your characters. The Morgan Freeman of Titan source, dude, just trust me. Movie of the week, goes to, congratulations to Nuclear Sheep for Movie of the Week. Congratulations to Chris of the Dread, Movie of the Week. Artist of the Week, congratulations to A Ghost Destiny. Oh, that's cool. Congratulations to Plasmometer, Rival D, Quiblet. Some pretty cool art submissions here. So congratulations to all those winners. And that was another lengthier TWAB, but we hope you enjoyed what the different teams had to share today. Only a few more TWABs left of the year, with December 15 being the final one before we get to be all cheesy and say see you next year to everyone until someone finally decides to punch us. Oh, Hippie never changed. Before we let y'all go, a small sneak peek into next week's TWABs includes more creative ways to get your stealth on with the Ubisoft announcement. We're getting those ovens ready for Space Grandma and a traceable outline of previous updates that you'll want to keep in mind for the road ahead. It'll be a good time, especially with all these cookies. We can't wait to get festive with everyone again to ring in a new year the right way. But while you're guzzling down all those space cookies, just a reminder to remember to drink that water, prioritize that self-care, and always lead with your kindest foot forward. See you next time, friends. I should go. Hippie. And that's the TWAB. Thank you so much for watching this on YouTube. If you like the TWAB, leave a like, or if you like the way I read the TWAB, leave a like, or if you like my face, leave a like, or if you hate me, still leave a like. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about this week's TWAB. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, peace out. I love you. Bye-bye.